Here's something to consider. Where does China get the majority of its imports built? In which country are they getting their imports built now? Where is China's China? I guess that's the best way of saying that. Where is China's China? Does anybody know? If you've been paying attention to the news. Hayden says Vietnam. Athena says India. Andrew says thoroughly enjoying this. Thanks, mate. India, Vietnam. Mr. Robson, you've nailed it. India, says Brian. Any more? Reg says USA. Annabelle says Taiwan. Now, let me tell you, China would never buy anything from Taiwan because they want Taiwan to be a part of China and Taiwan wants to be an independent state. And so there's a whole freaking shit fight about that. They don't even acknowledge that Taiwan exists. So they're never going to do that. Russia, no. North Korea, no. That'd be kind of cool if they did, but no. India, no. All right, cool. So the answer is, of all places, Africa. Africa is the place that is China's China. Now, in business, it is really, really smart to follow money around at scale. So when Jeff Bezos, for instance, first launched into India, they invested $2 billion. And then very, very quickly after that, they invested another $3 billion into India. And so I saw that and instantly wanted to be in India because you've got to follow money. You've got to follow money. And I thought $5 billion of investment, hell, if I can ride on the coattails of that, that's a lot of money to make. And it's proven to be a very, very successful strategy. India's freaking awesome. China is investing all their money into Africa, building trade routes, building commodity processors for gas, things like that, building shipping routes, buying up ports and things like that. Africa is China's factory. That's where they are. That's where they're placing their money for the factory to be. So that tells us very, very neatly that China believes they can buy the same products cheaper in Africa than they can produce them themselves in China. That's because, of course, China, burgeoning economy, they've had crazy growth, 10% every year on year for the last 20 odd years, crazy stuff, and there has to be a point where that stops and you've got a middle class and it becomes a stable economy rather than an emerging economy. So Africa is exactly the same position that China was 25, 30 years ago, something like that, and that's where China's placing all its money. So you would do a lot worse than considering that as a region to go source in. Also, let's give you a little bit more things to consider as well. So one of the things that I do, like I have never been to the Canton Fair. Now, I plan to do that next year, and I plan to do something pretty cool next year with regards to that, but I've never personally been to the Canton Fair. That is because I always go to industry-specific trade fairs to go source my products. So for a long time, I was selling in the nutraceutical space, which is, lotions, potions, pills, that sort of thing. It's called nutraceutical. And so I went to things like Supply Side West, for instance, and Supply Side East. So East Coast of America, West Coast of America. So this is in Vegas. That's where I used to go, things like that. I also used to go to, and still do, Vita Foods. Here we go. So this is in Switzerland, in Geneva, Vita Foods, and it's where all of the industry-specific people go with all the new ingredients and all the new products, blah, 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 blah. So that's where I go source. So that gives you a couple of different things to think about. If you are looking for the next big thing for sourcing, consider Africa, because that's where China is placing its bets. And you ought to follow China's bets because they've proven to be very adept at building economies. And if you are instead looking for specific things, then you do a lot worse than go to specific trade shows to find your specific products. That's my strategy. I'm very, very interested in leveraging my time. Canton Fair, it's 5 football fields of freaking craziness. And so for me, that doesn't make sense. What makes sense is I know what I want to source. Now I've just got to find a place to source it. That makes sense for me. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales I've used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on, a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.